Hi guys, I'm Liam and welcome to John Street. Today's video we're going to do a bit of a repot and real talk, just answering some questions I've gotten kind of on social media throughout the place. I did post on my story and get some questions for you guys. And then the plants we're repotting are actually just mine. I do have some of these at the store, but these are the ones I have at home. So these will be fun to repot. They really need it. And then these are actually cuttings I've been rooting for a while for myself, because as much as I may sell things, I don't always get to bring stuff home. Sometimes you grab them too fast, so, I mean, not complaining by any means. But yeah, let's just get into it. I'm gonna get better at this kind of eye contact. I kind of suck at it right now, but I'll get comfortable, whatever. So kind of just a question to start. I'm just gonna kind of do things, go through stuff and answer questions at the same time. The first question, and it kind of seems fitting, is why did I start John Street, and what was kind of why? For me, John Street was always a goal. It was always something that I knew I wanted. I didn't necessarily know I wanted this exact thing, but my dream has always been to open up my own retail store, to have some sort of little brick and mortar store where I can sell art, I can sell home decor, I can make my own mess. Let me just move this here. And I can sell houseplants. So probably 4 years ago now, I started just selling cuttings and little plants, kind of like things for my own collection, just on Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, kind of just all over that kind of stuff. But I didn't have John Street per se. So 2 years ago now, I registered John Street as an official business, and I started looking for my storefront. And my goal was to create a place that I loved coming, and also a place that you guys would love to come. I wanted somewhere to be open and warm and welcome, but fun and kind of weird, and have a little bit of everything. So, well, that's what John Street is. So, but to start, we're gonna do the rickrack cactus. I actually have been throwing cuttings in here forever. So you got lots of little things. Look at the fuzziness. But yeah, time for a new pot because it's definitely ready. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, some of the cuttings will fall. That's fine. Not all of them have worked, but the ones that did work, I'll pull some aside to show you. Oh, maybe not. Yep. So I'm just trying to get this now in here with like a good inch or so of space kind of on the bottom and about a ½ inch around the sides. So that way I can still have room to grow into this pot. Like I'm not putting it in something that's gonna, by the time the summer comes, I'll have to repot it again. Because you really shouldn't repot your plants all the time. I know it's like a controversial topic, but some people say that you should repot them so you know what the roots are doing, and some people say you shouldn't. I am a little bit of both, because I mean, you do need to know what's going on in your plant, don't get me wrong. You gotta actually be able to tell what you're like trying to care for. But at the same time, yeah, the roots being messed with a lot isn't something a plant likes. Like, especially if I'm shipping plants and then you guys get them to your house and then less than a day or so goes by and you've already repotted them, like the plant's gonna be upset. Simple as that, because I mean, you just spent probably like 3 to 4, maybe 5 days in a box getting beaten up by random people in the postal service, and then as soon as you get into your new home, it's you guys pull at the roots. And I mean, I'm saying you guys as if it's like everyone does it, and not everyone does it. One of the questions that I'm kind of going to now is, how do you ensure a healthy plant when you ship it? Well, the start of that is start with a healthy plant, obviously. And you can't start with a plant that's super dehydrated or super overwatered or something you're trying to like still fix. A plant that's going to be put into a box should have a good chance. You shouldn't send something that you're worried about in the first place. So that's kind of where we start. I won't ship anything if it doesn't look like it can even handle the drive home, let alone a box and across Canada. So that's a part of how I start like ensuring people get their plants alive. But education is also a big thing because some plants just don't ship well, like at all. Alocasias, for example, last year we shipped out probably 60 of them, and a very good chunk of them had an issue because as much as they look beautiful when they're in their shop, I have one here, super healthy and happy, and a little new leaf coming. Can you see that? There we go. But yes, it looks happy, it looks healthy. But as soon as we put it in a box and it seems to be put away for a week while it's in the process of getting to your house and shipping, they don't do well. Most of the times they either go dormant, they lose some leaves, or they just go into shock. They just go into full-blown shock. And yes, there is a bulb in the alocasias, so you can restart, but it's not just alocasias. Like Rhaphidophora tetraspermas suck for shipping. I now don't ship them. If I ship them, it's gonna be more of a situation where I've contacted the client and let them know, oh yeah, well here, we're done with this guy. And then to show you, I forgot to show you the rooted. So, cutting, and then obviously we got some roots starting. And then there's a few in there that have fuzzy little babies now. Yeah, so fun. So I'll give it a good watering after this. For now, it can just sit there. Okay, next question. Okay, well, I kind of answered that next one. Plants that we don't order as much. I love ordering alocasias. I love ordering ferns. But if you can't pick them up, I can't really sell them because they don't ship well. They don't ship well. And it's shitty. I got no other way to put that than it's not fun. Because I really do always want you guys, whoever it may be ordering a plant, to actually get the live plant. Whether you're here across the street or you're across Canada. Otherwise, we shouldn't be offering that service, right? Like if we can't ensure that you're gonna get a healthy, almost spotless looking plant with some exceptions because obviously we're putting it in a box, and I mean if you got pushed into a box you'd probably look a little beat up for a second too. You'll snap back though, as the plants will. In a day or two they'll fold back up and they'll unravel and things will get back to normal, but the plant itself is healthy, and that's kind of what matters, is that I'm actually still going to send a healthy plant. So plants I don't order anymore would be, well, I don't necessarily not order any plants, but I have plants that I won't ship anymore. So alocasias I won't ship anymore. Rhaphidophoras I won't ship anymore. That's kind of it, really. Excuse me, a little coffee burp. They're fantastic plants, they really are. They're so pretty. I've got a huge alocasia metalhead, but if it can't be picked up and it can't be just walked out the front door and it has to be put into a box, it might die. What it is. And I mean, yes, you can bring it back sometimes because there's a bulb on it, but do you want to, like, I don't want to send you a plant that you have to restart from. It's a nice option, but does that make sense? Like, I don't want to send plants that need to be restarted. Dormancy is one thing that's natural. You can't really avoid dormancy too much unless you're tricking it with like grow lights and you've got great care tips or care tactics, but I'm not going to send you a plant you have to restart from. So yeah, alocasias, plants I don't order anymore. Long story short, sorry. Favorite plants to order and stock. It's a little bit of a toss-up. First instinct would be snake plants or dracaenas. They've been recategorized, sansevierias, whatever you want to call them, the mother-in-law tongue, because they're just fun. Like, regardless of how big, how little, how expensive, how cheap, they all seem to have like a very fun marking, a fun growth, and if you can get them to bloom, then it's just even more that shocking because it's a weird growth with a big flower. Sansevieria, probably easiest, one of my favorites to order. And then secondly would actually be peperomia because I'm a peperomia person, love my peps. But There's so many kinds. There are so many kinds of peperomias and options and all that kind of stuff. It's hard answering some of these questions because yes, my favorite plant to order may be peperomias and sansevierias, but the market's not always in with what are my favorite plants to order. Like right now, it seems like as much as I love the sansevierias we got in, and we got some very fun colored, like the jade, that's real dark, almost black. We got the samurais in a 6-inch, so they're like really nice and pointy and big, but they're not trendy. So I'm rambling. Can you tell I'm nervous? Okay. We're gonna repot another one and keep answering some questions. It's too big. I know the pot's too big. Don't yell at me, don't at me. Listen. So this anthurium has some crazy meaty roots. And I'm sick of watering it so often. So I'm gonna do a little bit of an experiment. I'm gonna try and put it upsized a little bit. Because anthuriums don't mind a little bit of a quote unquote wet feet, but like don't make it soggy. Let them dry out a little bit, let them get all that kind of stuff out of them because I mean, none of us want like wet, soggy roots all the time, right? You have to dry out and then you get to refresh. But so kind of next question goes along with like wrong size pot. So we're back, but the Anthurium suburbum finished potting up, looks super nice. And I'm just gonna kind of keep going. I would like to put both of these in the same pot, the variegated string of hearts, maybe in like this pot. And then let's kind of go on for questions. Oh, okay. This is an interesting question. Best customer versus your worst customer experience. Best customer, I don't really have a specific one. I have quite a few who are, I love you guys, and you know who you are. The customers that reach out and ask how, like, I'm doing, because it's a lot. This is a lot, and this whole COVID, and it's just scary. It is. It's a lot. So best customers are just like those people that want to know what's going on and like don't mind sending you a funny joke about a plant or even just a joke about life, because I like to laugh and I'm not just somebody that runs a business, I'm also a human. Okay? Worst customers? Ooh. I couldn't off the top of my head tell you like the worst customer. I don't imagine there is somebody like that would fit that qualification. But I can tell you the difference between a, like, how do I put this nicely or properly? Like a good customer in my books is somebody who is understanding not only about time, but about products and wants to learn and has some form of faith from the business that they are shopping or working with, that the business is aware of what they're doing, obviously. Like, I don't know everything. I don't know how to care for every plant, but I also really won't, that's the easiest way to say this. I'm not gonna stock 200 plants I don't know how to care for. So I will confidently tell you how to care for this like a plant when you take it home from my store. But like I can't answer questions from plants that I've never tried, never experienced, that kind of stuff. And a good customer understands that. A good customer understands that life goes on, things move, things happen, and as long as it's a mutual, we're both respecting each other and we're both giving a good bounce back from each other, that's a great customer. We're on another rant. This whole thing is gonna be a bit of a learning curve for me because I don't like being in front of the camera. I was a photographer for 7.5 years in fashion and I loved it, but I loved it because I was able to create from behind the camera. So, oh, well here, let's show you this. Look at them. So happy, so fun. Yeah. And, okay. just gonna say goodbye. Subscribe. Why not? Turn on the bell if you want some notifications. But thank you guys for all of your support and just being you. And yeah, I've got nothing else to say. Happy growing. Bye, guys.